Hi, welcome to Losing Weight with Elizabeth. I was reading today, I had a whole thing planned for us today on healthy eating. And it was going to be what kind of foods what kind of food would be really healthy food? What do you think is a healthy food?
Vegetables.
Certainly all vegetables. Even beans and corn have their place.
Fruits.
Fruit, sure. Even though you can't overeat fruit, but not ridiculously. Avocados, olive oil, what?
Nuts.
Nuts, another one that you can't overeat, but you could. Although that's 62 pistachios for 200 calories, really. I thought that was a deal and a half. And it takes a long time. But then this morning, I realized that a lot of people in change of seasons and life happens stuff, we were kind of sabotaging ourselves, and I'm pretty much thinking that I'm part of that, doing a little sabotaging. I ate I didn't eat right. I haven't eaten right, and since the weather changed, anybody else notice that? Any change just because of the weather? Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. I think it has something to do with it. I think we need to start. I think we need to stop sabotaging ourselves. So let's start with why people sabotage their weight loss efforts. How do they do that? Let's start with the all or nothing. And that's what I like most about Mara. Mara was never an all or nothing person. She was right down the middle of the road. That's the smart way to do it. But when you are either I'm going to be on this 24/7 or I'm going to just eat everything in sight. It just can't be like that because that's not real life. We're going to have fun, or go out to dinner, or have pizza, or go, what was that, Ann, that you did?
Oh, we went to my great nephew's Eagle Scout ceremony Sunday, and they had
so there
food
was
there.
And there's just treats there. I have to go to a tea on Sunday with the gardening club of something, or something like that. Imagine me at a gardening club. This is gonna, I have to watch the language, no drinking. The whole thing is all really weird to me. But it'll be delicious because it's all women. They'll have every snack known to man, and it'll be wonderful. But I will plan and prepare so that I will not have to, deny myself one little thing I want. But the one thing that has changed, and I need to know if it's changed for you guys, and you guys out there, is that if I have sugar, I feel like I've had some dreadful drug. It's not really affecting me very well, and I say that the better chance you have of staying, this is an all or nothing thing. I can only have like the smallest amount of sugar, and there's plenty of sugar in my food already. Do you find that true? Does it? Of course, you have an iron stomach, so nothing bothers you.
Nothing bothers
it doesn't
me,
make you get a little shaky or anything like that?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, my goodness.
I wish it did a little bit, it would help, but it doesn't, no.
Yeah.
No, but I'm one of those people, if I have it,
Yeah.
I'm like on and I want more.
Yeah, oh, yes, because it's addictive as anything.
Yeah.
You can't have it
Definitely.
you can't have it any more addictive than it is. Mm-hmm. So, how about you? Do you don't get any feeling when you have sugar?
Oh, I just get an insatiable appetite.
Right, for more of it.
Right. And then after I eat, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have eaten all that.
It's all this. You're like, oh. But I feel like for me, it's like as if I had too much caffeine. I don't know if that's true of everyone else, but I'm just telling you, we're on a 21-day challenge with Losing Weight with Elizabeth, where you are trying to stay away from sugar products, and you wouldn't believe how much sugar is in everything. Well, that's really off the beaten path of sabotaging yourself. Mm-hmm. But
Oh, I was going to say, when you were saying about the all or nothing, if you go into it all in, I got to do everything perfectly, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Absolutely.
And then once you do fail and feel crap about yourself, it just throws you into this
Downward spiral.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true because it says here, like the weekends. And listen, I know we have to enjoy our weekends. There's no doubt about that. But we cannot go into Monday dreading it worse than we already are. Let's face it, most people are not looking forward to Monday. But now you add in, I can only have, 2 hard-boiled eggs and a cup of peas and or whatever ridiculous meal that you've planned that is really deprivation. And so really we need to plan a better way of handling the weekend. At least we talked about this last week. How about one day out of the weekend where you really watch what you eat? And how did that work out? That was with you.
Yeah, it wasn't bad on Saturday, but Sunday was when we went to my nephew's Eagle Scout ceremony, and I wasn't good Sunday.
I know it's not good. You weren't. It was. Let's not say good, because good. You're the best. You're the absolute best. But let's say you just ate unhealthy, unlike yourself, unlike your healthy little self. And that's what happens. There's like these lost weekends where all of a sudden you're just eating everything in sight, and that's the real problem. First of all, what would be a good way to not eat everything in sight? In your house.
Not have the food around.
If you don't buy it, you can't eat it, right? That is the most important thing. Now, a lot of times you'll say, oh, I have to have it for my grandkids, my nieces, my nephews, my kids, your kids. Nobody needs that. Unless you're these kids that are in your life are the ones that can eat 2 cookies and stop. Is that any of us? That's certainly not me. I cannot just eat 2 cookies. I did have a half a cookie at that party and 2 bites of a little, whatever it was, a s'more bar. It's quite delicious, by the way. Anyway, but I discreetly threw it away because I knew that was 4 bites of just pretty much sugar and lard. That's really what's in it, sugar and lard. And I was afraid of what was going to happen because I did have to go to that luncheon with the girls. And I just had to have just a little taste. And I could feel it. It was really unbelievable. So we have to watch the weekend because I don't want to have remorse just because I had a bad weekend.
Right.
I want to accept it if I had a bad weekend. If I had a bad week, I just want to accept that I had a bad week. Because the quickest way to stop trying to take care of yourself is to stop altogether. What if you had a bad week? What if you had a bad month? You have to plan around that fact that you've taken a little back step, but now we're going to move forward. In that way, what's the worst? Do you remember the worst back step you took? Got a bad one? Got one for us?
Oh, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I'm
But there have
thinking of
been many.
Hershey, but it wasn't even Hershey,
No, I
was
was
it?
good at Hershey. Yeah.
How could you have been good at Hershey?
Oh, I know. When we went to the Renaissance Fair and we got nachos with like everything imaginable on it, cheese and chili and everything. It was bad.
And how was it not, now I know that you have an iron stomach, so I'm not concerned about that, but did you get right back on it the next day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had wicked guilt. I felt like I sabotaged myself.
Yeah.
I was like, all week I was good, and now I ate this thing, and
Yeah.
it screwed me up. So
Wicked guilt.
Yeah.
Oh, what a waste. Isn't it
Mhm.
awful to be
Yeah.
we're so mean
it
to
doesn't
ourselves.
change anything.
Huh?
It doesn't change anything.
No,
it's
it
not like, oh,
doesn't.
if I'm guilty, it's not going to affect me. You know,
Yeah, I'll just have another piece of pie. That'll make me feel better. That's really honestly what I think sometimes we do. Well, I messed up. I ate that half a chicken, might as well eat the other half. That is really the truth, isn't it? It happens to me a million times. So I think we should stop the all or nothing and start looking at our weekends and how they affect our Mondays and our actual emotional health on Monday when we're depriving ourselves. Then there's the forbidden fruit. I mean, well, it's not fruit. There isn't any forbidden fruit. But like the no cookies ever. If I were to say that I was not going to have cookies ever, I would not be happy. They're my favorite food. I have to have them in my life. But I have noticed over this probably last year or two. Now keep in mind that I've kept this weight off for 10 years. But I've noticed in this last couple of times being in the cookies being surrounding me a lot, I've eaten a lot fewer. And I think maybe because I don't deprive myself of them. What's your favorite food, and do you deprive yourself of it?
Oh, it's ice cream, and I don't deprive myself. Well, I alter it a little bit. Like I'll do frozen yogurt or gelato or something, but I don't take as much. I used to be able to eat the whole pint, but now I just do a scoop. Yeah.
Well, I had one lady who would let the ice cream melt in the cup because she could only have a cup of ice cream, and she would let it melt in the cup a little bit so she could put more ice cream into it.
It's fun.
We honestly, in weight loss, as in really lots of things in our life, we constantly are trying to fool ourselves. I mean, I am the biggest offender of trying to fool myself into thinking that that's not like that when in fact it is. But that's what she used to do. She doesn't do that anymore. She lost 37 pounds and she's kept it off for 3 years. And she and her husband, this is what they'll do, speaking of ice cream, they'll go on an ice cream journey to find the best ice cream within 25 miles. Then they'll have a scoop here, and then a scoop there, and then a scoop there. It's part of the day.
I'll have to talk to them.
Yeah. Stay away from them.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, here's one of my other ones that I can't. The crash dieting for a big event. Now, I have had lots of brides and mothers of the brides and mothers of the groom who have come to me and want to lose weight for the wedding, or people who want to lose weight for a reunion or some big gathering where everyone's going to see them and they want to look their very best. You've had those occasions, right? And so of course you naturally want to look your best, and so they want to lose all that weight and get down to it and be all feeling good about themselves. And then the occasion comes, and then what happens?
They start eating like crazy again.
Yeah, because what's gone now?
Motivation.
Yeah.
Their motivation.
Motivation.
Their motivation. That's right, Chelsea. That's exactly what it is. They had a goal. They came to me. They said they needed to lose 60 pounds in the year. I set the diet up for them. Diet, I don't like that word. Don't diet edit. Let's say that. I set up a healthy eating pattern for them so that they could lose that weight, and then they did. Usually about 50, and then the wedding was over, or the reunion was over, and more than likely the happiness that they thought was going to happen at the reunion didn't happen, or whatever, and or the wedding's over, and now they're like, what to look forward to?
It's kind of a letdown.
It's a letdown, especially
Yeah.
when you've been planning it for so long, especially a wedding. And you want to look. One of my ladies, the seamstress at the wedding store, kept having to take the dress in, and was getting madder and madder. And of course, the woman was happier and happier. But now, she gained the weight back because she was only about the goal. What should the goal be?
Health.
Health. Healthy lifestyle. That's what the goals should be. It shouldn't be something that's going to end. It's never going to end. It's always going to be about you trying to take good care of yourself. And we need to start to think about that because remember all those things we came up with, like one of the girls, the reason why she wanted to lose weight was because she couldn't tie her own shoelaces. And then, don't you know, I see on Facebook, which made me laugh really hard, they have a little machine, some sort of little machine that actually ties your shoelaces. And I was like, you know, the day I can't tie my shoelaces,
really.
I mean, and I'm not, due to weight, is the day that I would, you know, I would really feel terrible. So, but she couldn't tie her shoelaces. But she lost that 37 pounds, and she's kept it off for 3 years. And she doesn't have any trouble with those shoelaces anymore. But now they're starting to find ways for people who are overweight, who can't do certain things simply because of their weight, not their health. I mean, which is a big issue, of course. But they're finding ways when 2/3 of the population is overweight, which is really unbelievable. So crash dieting, or you know, cleansing, or just drinking smoothies, or doing some ridiculous thing that you cannot keep up. You can't lose weight one way and keep it off another. So when we've had, let's say we've had a good 6-week run, and we've done really well, right? And then we hit a roadblock for whatever reason. Could be any reason in the world. We should right there say, I hit a roadblock, I'm in a rut, but I'm just gonna keep putting one step in front of the other. I'm gonna keep trying to do it. Even if I'm not doing it perfectly, I'm gonna keep trying to do it because I don't want to backslide all the way. And that's what we have to start to think. So, no goal. The goal is healthy habits. That's all the goal is, right there. Now, I know you guys will argue with me on a regular basis on this one, but please only weigh once a week. Now, in your case, I understand that your scale fluctuates, your body fluctuates. Maybe it's the kidney transplant, or did it always do that?
It always did that.
It always did that. And mine, and I weigh every Friday morning at 8:30. And that's just the way it is. And believe me, I'm scared to death to get on the scale, as scared as anybody else is to get on the scale. But it's I can't stand getting on the scale every day. It's just too hard on me. How about you?
I don't get on every day. I've never been someone who was really obsessed with seeing how much I weigh, but you know, I feel like I'm doing it more often than I am doing it more than once a week. I'm doing it probably every other day now because I know that I've been, you know, faltering a little bit. So, but I'm not someone who gets discouraged when I stand on the scale.
Yeah.
So, and my scale is definitely off from yours.
Yeah, they're always going to be a little bit different. All scales are different, and that's one of the reasons why I hate when you cheat on me and weigh on your own scales at home. But nevertheless.
But is there? Why do you say to weigh just once a week versus twice a week or whatnot?
Well, because if you weigh at the same time every week, it usually is about it's usually about the right weight that you actually are. Now, if I've had some salty something the night before or the day before, something was really salty, I might have an extra pound or two on me, but I'll know why. But every day, I couldn't do it because if I was up 3 pounds one day, it would affect me emotionally. I couldn't do that. I have to do it. It's work for me. This works for me. This is what they're saying. It's just a number anyway. And the other part is, if your clothes are fitting better, maybe the scale's not changing, but your clothes are fitting better. That happens too, because there's many non-scale victories. So that would be one of them, is that your scale is there. Here's another one. How about sleeping? Anybody having any trouble sleeping? No?
Well, I take sleeping pills because I've had trouble sleeping my whole life.
Right.
But I have a schedule now where I take my Ambien at 8 o'clock and then I'm out by 9 o'clock. But I've always had sleeping problems
Yeah,
my
me
whole
too,
life.
always sleeping problems. So, but you've actually, and you're on a schedule.
Mhm.
So being on a schedule makes it a big difference. I'm on a schedule. And this morning I didn't wake up till 9:20 and I wake up at 6:15 every single day of my life. And I was wondering, why is that happening? And my mom there said to me, that's because the clocks are going to change and everything's going to be different and you'll be okay next week. So she gave me a good excuse for why this would ever happen in my life. Okay, so how about sleeping? Everybody okay with sleeping? You need 6 to 8 hours a night. You have to turn off the light, turn off the TV, stop reading the book, stop and stop thinking. And there's the really hard one. So sometimes, you can have white noise in your bedroom. Do you have that? I have a rainstorm going on all the time. And that's very effective for me. Anybody else have anything like that?
Snoring dogs.
Snoring dogs. Well,
There
of
you
course
go.
But that's peaceful for you.
It is.
How about anybody else? Nothing?
During the summer, I have the fan on. That's very soothing.
It's very soothing, isn't it? I have the fan on even in the winter sometimes. That window is never closed, not even in the winter. I have to have that air. So I want to make it as comfortable as possible. How about you, Mara? Sleeping good?
I don't really have trouble sleeping. I've had a few, episodes in my life where I've had some trouble due to, stress or whatnot, but normally I don't have any trouble at all, and I don't need any kind of noise in the room. I just pretty much, when I put my cell phone down at night, I go right to sleep. Like
You do not even understand what a blessing that is, do you? It is such a blessing, is it? Because I got that loop in my head, what if, why can't I, and I have to start, that's why I concentrate on the rain. So that's that's a healthy one right there. And this is another one, a lot of people will say to me, I don't like vegetables. Well, you can't dislike all vegetables, and most of the time the reason you don't like vegetables is because you're not making them in any way that tastes good. I mean, I love vegetables, and I make them real. I made roasted asparagus yesterday. Just a teaspoon of olive oil on a pan, and then I rolled the asparagus so that a little olive oil got on each one of them, right? And then I baked them, and then I put Parmesan cheese on the top
that's
at the
good.
last minute and let that get a little crispy. And I had that with hard-boiled eggs. And I'm telling you, I know it doesn't sound delicious, but it was delicious. Any favorite vegetable?
Anything roasted. I love the asparagus, the Brussels sprouts, the even
Cauliflower.
Yeah,
I love to make the cauliflower like
zucchini.
zucchini.
Yeah,
and-
broccoli.
So, yeah,
I
there's
like,
a
I like,
million
I like
ways.
vegetables.
I make vegetable frittatas a lot, and those are great for lunches and make it really easy. So don't say you don't do vegetables. Just try to find the ones that you actually like and dress them up a little bit, and you really can. How about not drinking enough water? Anybody find that they?
I hate water.
I know. I know you
That's
hate water.
That's my biggest thing, and I don't drink enough.
Really?
And I should, and I need to, but I don't.
It's so funny you say that, because when we very first started, when I first started doing this, and I'd say, well, what do you think the problem is? They'd say, I don't drink enough water. I would always go, what? That cannot be the problem. But, I mean, you do drink enough. So I know that you do drink at least 64 ounces of fluid.
Right.
So I'm
Just
not
not
really
water.
worried about it, even though it may not be water. It's not wine or alcohol either. Let's say, because I know her well enough. Cleaning your plate. Everybody, a lot of us were raised with the starving children in
Yeah.
whatever country, It was always you had to clean your plate, and sometimes, honestly, I'm cleaning my plate not because of starving children, but because it's just so good. I could practically lick some of the plates that I'm cooking. So, if you start to feel full, you should really take a breather and let's see what's going on there. Others steer you off course. Well, I had friends who would just constantly try to get me to go to buffets. I can't go to a buffet. I know myself well enough to know that I can't go to a buffet. And they kind of left me behind. They would just go to the buffet rather than just go to a restaurant where you could just have, order something and just get one thing, filling that big old plate up. And then the last thing was nighttime eating. You just have to be careful. You have to plan and prepare for nighttime eating. You can't. I will not give up my grapes and my popcorn at night, but I planned and prepared for both of them. So it's not all or nothing. Let's watch our weekends. Let's not say no cookies ever. It's just ridiculous. Give yourself permission to have them. No crash diets. Watch getting on that scale every day. All right, I get it. Watch your sleep. Try to make your vegetables taste good, and you can do that. There's a billion recipes. Try to drink enough water, even if it's tea or coffee. You don't have to clean your plate. I'm a mom. You don't have to clean your plate. Don't let others sabotage you. That's the other part of it. And watch your nighttime noshing. Okay, so let's not sabotage ourselves. We have enough people who try to do it to us. All right, have a healthy week, and I'll see you next week.